Well, joining me on the phone right now is Donald Trump. Mr. Trump, welcome back to Meet the Press.
Good morning, and I have to tell you, his ad is wrong because I never knocked down that house. I wanted to get the house to build a major building that would have employed tremendous numbers of people, but when the woman didn't want to sell, ultimately, I just said forget about it. So he's got me bulldozing down a house. I never bulldozed it down. It's false advertising. So what can I tell you?
Well, all right. I think the accusation was that that's what you wanted to do.
No,
and
the
she was
accusation
getting
was
in
that I did it, and I didn't do it, so I didn't. But you know, the word eminent domain, if you didn't have eminent domain, you wouldn't have highways, you wouldn't have the Keystone Pipeline because they need it desperately if it's ever going to get built. You wouldn't have roads, you wouldn't have schools, hospitals. I mean, I don't love eminent domain, but you need eminent domain or you don't have a country.
Look, this race between you and Ted Cruz, he wants to make it about who's the real conservative. Here's what he said yesterday when it comes to you and conservatism. I want to get you to react to it. Here he is.
Perhaps one of the reasons that the Washington establishment is rushing so quickly behind Donald Trump is that Donald has been an active supporter. He gave $100,000 to the Clinton Foundation. He's actively supported Hillary Clinton as a political candidate. He supported Chuck Schumer. He supported Andrew Cuomo. He supported Rahm Emanuel. So they know he will cut a deal.
You know, I know you've embraced the idea of cutting a deal, but some conservatives fear you're not a real conservative, that 60 years you weren't a conservative, you've only been one in the last 8 or 9.
Well, that's not right, number one. And most conservatives love me or I wouldn't be having the poll numbers that Fox just came out. They just released their numbers. It's through the roof. And I wouldn't be having the poll numbers that I have. I am a conservative, but I get along with people. Ted cannot get along with people at all. I mean, the biggest problem he has, he's a nasty guy, and nobody likes him. Not one Republican senator, he works with them every day, not one Republican senator has endorsed Ted Cruz. I mean, when you think of it, that's actually impossible
Mr. Trump,
to even
why?
believe.
I'm just curious. You've been laying into to Cruz over the last 10 days on this issue. For 6 months, you talked about how much you liked Ted Cruz.
No,
Were you pulling the wool over our eyes on that?
Look, he was very nice to me, and I kept saying, when is it going to happen, Ted? When is it going to happen? I was waiting because I want to counterpunch. I don't want to be the first one. And then during the debate, which everyone said I won, he got very nasty, and he started hitting me, and I hit him back. And then, you know, since then, but I was saying he was following along. Anything I said was okay to him. Anything I said, and he was really, you know, look, I had some people that have been terrific on the stand, and I like some of the candidates very much on a personal basis. But Ted was very nice, and then I said, and during that period of time, I said, come on, Ted, when is it going to happen? Because I understand Ted. Ted's a nasty guy who is not a very well-liked person.
It sounded like, by the way, you said the other day you wouldn't vote for him if he's a nominee. Is that true?
No, I talked about the fact that I'm not sure that I can vote for him because, as you know, he is a very major issue. In fact, Illinois now is looking at it very seriously. I don't even know if he's going to be okay to run in Illinois, in the state of Illinois. He was born in Canada. He was born on Canadian soil. He was a citizen of Canada.
Didn't you sign a pledge?
Chuck.
Didn't you sign a pledge, though, that you would support the Republican nominee?
Oh, yeah. No, I will. I just don't. That was relating to Canada, by the way, when I said that. The question was that,
Gotcha.
And it's relating to Canada. The question is whether or not he can run. And I'm telling you something, from the standpoint of voters in Iowa and New Hampshire and all these places that have to go out and vote, how can you vote for a candidate? I mean, how can you do it when you don't even know if that candidate is able to run? Lawrence Tribe from Harvard said, it's totally unsettled law. A number of top constitutional lawyers have come out recently over the last few days that he's not allowed to run. He was born in Canada. He can't run. So there's a real question, and I said he should get a declaratory judgment. He has to do something, because how can you have a campaign when it's very possible you're not allowed to run?
Let me ask you about National Review. I've seen your tweets. I know how you feel about the magazine, and I know how you feel about this issue, but let me get you to respond to one quote from Eric Erickson. He writes this: like the angels in heaven who rejoice for every new believer, we should rejoice for Donald Trump's conversion to conservatism, but we should not put a new conservative in charge of conservatism or the country. What do you tell conservatives that will make them believe you won't leave the ideology if it's convenient or unpopular?
Well, first of all, that's not an insulting quote. I mean, it really is. I was going to hit him very hard.
I know you were about to, weren't you?
And it wasn't really an insulting quote. Second of all, National Review is a failing magazine And you get that. They did it because they'll get some nice publicity. I am a conservative. And what I say to people is this: Ronald Reagan, he was a somewhat liberal Democrat, and over years he evolved, and he became a fairly conservative, not overly, but a fairly conservative Republican. Now, he became a great president also. And I've evolved, and a lot of people have evolved, and a lot of people changed positions on things over years. And by the way, Ted Cruz has changed his position. He was very weak on illegal immigration. Yeah. He was very, very weak on illegal immigration. And now all of a sudden, because of my stance, he got strong. But Ted Cruz was absolutely weak on immigration, and now all of a sudden he got stronger. So, let's see what happens. But I use the term Ronald Reagan. I use the name Ronald Reagan, and that's pretty good to me.
Just about 15, 20 minutes ago, Mitt Romney put out a tweet saying 4 years ago today, he put out his tax returns, and he believes that every 2016 candidate should release their returns before the first contest. Just so you know, every nominee, Mr. Trump, has released their tax returns going back to 1980. The Clintons, by the way, Hillary Clinton, we have every tax return that her name's been on since 1977 in the public domain. Will you release any of your tax returns for the public to scrutinize?
Well, we're working on that now. I have very big returns, as you know, and I have everything all approved and very beautiful, and we'll be working on that over the next period of time, Chuck. Absolutely.
What's a period of time before the,
I don't know. I mean,
before the voting
I have
begins?
to ask my accountants. This is not like a normal tax return. This is
no,
a big
I understand
tax return. And I have to talk. And I will say this, and I'm very proud to say it. I think the country is run horribly. I hate what they do with our money. And unlike everybody else, I try and pay as little tax as possible because I hate what they do with my tax money. I hate the way they spend our money, the way they give it to Iraq, the way they give it to Iran, the way they give it to everything. They give it to everybody.
But you are going to release it.
I hate the way our politicians spend our money.
Right.
I hate the way they give it away to everybody but us. We have to rebuild our country.
But you will release it.
A little tax, and I say it. And a reporter said that's the most refreshing answer I've ever heard on taxes, because everyone tries to build it up. Like Mitt Romney, he built it up. He tried to build it up. How much he paid? It just doesn't work that way. But I'll be. We're working on it right now, and at the appropriate time, you'll be very satisfied.
And finally, I got to ask you about Michael Bloomberg. What do you make of the idea that if you're the nominee, if Sanders is the nominee, that's what would inspire Mr. Bloomberg to go third party?
Well, Michael has been a friend of mine over the years. I don't know if we're friends anymore, frankly, but Michael has been a friend of mine. I would love to have Michael Bloomberg run. I would love that competition. I think I'd do very well against it. I would love to see Michael Bloomberg run.
All right, you embrace it. Mr. Trump, I will leave it there. Stay safe on the trail. We'll see you next week in Iowa.
All right, thank you very much.
Hey, NBC News fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here, and then click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.